So good afternoon, you guys, and thank you for joining me today during your lunch for our Saab 2000 AE 2100 engine change training. We'll be covering this training over a course of several weeks and 3 different series. So what I'd like to do is start out with a slide on what a CFO says to a CEO. CFO says, what if we invest in developing our people and they leave us? CEO responds, what happens if we don't and they stay? So what we're going to be doing over the next several weeks is investing in our people. So I've handed you each a copy of the Turbo AE 2100 engine sheet that shows you what the engine modules look like. We will discuss what objectives we hope to achieve in the next few weeks and our understanding of the time-controlled and life-limited parts on this engine. Keep this and the other 3 handouts that I've handed out, which are on the table over there, during this training session, because as we move through the module portion of this training, it will help you understand which modules are where and also provide you a better understanding of why the engine is broken up into these modules and where they are located in our COM system, our engine training tracking system. So let's get started. Our first is the agenda over this next 3 weeks. Today we're going to cover the objectives and the engine change tools, the 6 pieces that you will need to successfully do an engine change. Day 2, we're going to cover the engine modules. That'll be about a 10-minute training. And day 3, we're going to cover the engine log, which will be a little bit longer, about a 25-minute or so coverage of the engine logbook, tab by tab, module by module. And that will provide you the tools that you will need to successfully complete an engine change. So let's cover the objectives of what we want to cover over the next several weeks. We want to cover 4 objectives. Our first objective is to identify where we can find the tools that we need to cover an engine change. The first is the engine change form, the second is the life limits form, and the third is the organizational chart. There's 3 other things that we are going to cover in regards to our camp program, our Rolls-Royce manuals, and other tools that you can use to locate what you need to do these engine changes. The second objective that we would like to cover is to be able to describe those 5 modules and their subcomponents of the AE 2100 engine using the engine modules and intervals form, which I've also handed you, handout. As well as the organizational chart, which clearly shows you the setup of this engine. Our third objective is going to be to demonstrate the ability to locate the life-limited components for an engine installation with the organizational chart as well as the individual intervals handout. Our third objective is going to be to demonstrate the ability to locate those life-limited components in the engine logbook, which you have in front of you. And we want to be able to do this with 100% accuracy. And our final and 4th objective is going to be following Penair engine change procedures in the GMM or General Maintenance Manual. Employees will complete an engine change within 8 hours of receiving the work package that the engine change came from. Yeah. So, what are the 6 tools? We have 6 tools that we use to complete a Rolls-Royce engine change: an organizational chart, the engine modules and intervals form, the maintenance records engine change form, the engine logbook, which again you all have in front of you, and the Rolls-Royce manual to find intervals and life-limited parts, and finally the camp program, Penair's continuous airworthiness maintenance program, and that will have additional intervals and life-limited parts that are not part of the MRB, the FAA Maintenance Review Board. So what I'm going to do is make sure that you guys keep those 6 handouts, and on our next training we're going to cover all 5 of those modules, their subcomponents, and the life-limited parts and intervals on those components. So you will need to bring those handouts to our next training. Do you guys have any questions? Not pretty cut and dry because we've done the 340 already.